Hello, how are we? First of all, apologies, I didn't do anything last week because I got busy Saturday, got busy Sunday. Saturday didn't make a difference because I normally do these on a Sunday now, so I don't know why I said Saturday, but I was at my sister's, went to my sister's on Sunday, and it wasn't late till we got back. Not late, but late enough for me not to be wanting to sit in the dungeon and doing this. Not that I don't enjoy doing this, and then in the week it was just like work, and then I couldn't be arsed to do anything after work because it was so busy. So yes, apologies for not putting anything up last week. I don't know whether that made any difference to your week whatsoever. There's a bloody wasp again. I don't know, but that's what it is. That's what it was. That's my excuse. Accept it, and let's move on. Let's move on together. What's been happening? Not a lot. Football's been happening. Obviously, everybody's been watching that. I have watched a bit more. I said the other week I've not really been into it. I have watched a bit more. Watched the England games, obviously. They recording this was yesterday. They made it into the semi-finals, so beat Ukraine 4-0. Really good result. So yeah, as a fan, it was a good game, but as a spectacle, it probably wasn't the best game. So I noticed that because I was on Twitter when I was just like looking through tweets, and all the England fans, a lot of the England fans were going, "Oh, what a game, what a game, what a game!" Because it's your team, because your team, you're more invested and you're more likely to enjoy the game. But as any neutrals or supporters of other teams were like, "Oh, it's not the best game in the world, is it?" Like technically, it's a bit. There were high spots, but there were moments where it was like, I got it. I'll try and see it objectively. But in fair play, they beat Germany. They beat Ukraine. Probably wasn't the strongest team, but the fact is Ukraine got there, so they were strong enough. And I always say in the tournament, regardless of who you come, you have to beat who you got to beat to get to the final. Regardless, people are always going. There's always people that are like will downplay. Oh, you never played the best. You never played so and so. That's not their fault. They didn't do the draw. Whoever gets through to the finals or semi-finals or wherever they get to, they didn't do the draw. They just play. You play what's in front of you, and then you've got to put the performance into play, make that game. So they clearly did. And then what's good is that they always talk about in sports. They always talk about peaking. So like with boxing, and like with fighting sports especially, they when they have like 12-week fight camps, or it's normally 12. What they try and do is a 12-week fight camp, and it's not like they go hard in the, like as they say, hard in the paint from the first week. They build up, and to a point where they're gonna, by the time that they're gonna fight, that's their peak. They've built up their training and they rest and everything like that all the way through those 12 weeks and ramped it up to the point where when it comes to the fight day, that's the day they're going to peak in terms of like they'll do sort of, if they're going to, I know some boxers if they were going to fight at say approximately 10, 11 o'clock at night, depending on what card you're on, they would do a lot of their technical harder training at that time. I'm burping a bit, sorry. At that time, just because their body will be used to it to be fighting at that time. So that's the same thing with the football as well. They've gradually got better. The England team, just talking about the England team specifically, have gradually got better. Their performances have got better. They're fit, so that means they're getting fitter and stronger. And I mean, technically, they're all professional footballers, so they know how to play football. It's within systems, because what I always found was difficult for an international team. What I always thought, not what I always found, because I've never been in an international team, but what I always thought was difficult was them, because you got like 11 individual players. Okay, some from the other teams, but you got essentially 11 individual players who are used to playing with this within certain systems within their team, and those individual players, like say for instance, a defender will be playing a specific way, how their team plays within that defence, which will most of the time not directly translate to the way that they're going to play in their international team, because the international manager has a different, because he has to accommodate those players that he's got, and then he has his systems and the way they want them to play, and the specifics that they want them to do. They might not want them to stay compact and not go out wide as much. They might want them to move forward more and have more cover behind. There's all sorts of little nuances that people don't get in football. But it's yeah, the more you watch it and the more you get it. I mean, I still don't get most of it. I kind of that makes sense now when I see it. Like, but yeah, so it's like that's why I always thought it was so difficult for an I mean, England have always had like super talented players, individuals, but not being able to translate into winning championships because they've never really been able to get that cohesion of the and mindset as well, and it's getting that cohesion of mindset as well. I mean, you got a problem there as well. Just thinking about it. So I'm just talking about football now. So the champion, so the top 1, 2, 3, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, top 3 teams. You've got Marcus Rashford, who was not starting, Mason Mount, who's in and out, but I mean I think he starts most of them. I'm not 100%. Jordan Henderson, and Luke Shaw's been playing in all the games, I think, and Harry Maguire. So you got 2 of the second place team. Man City, unfortunately, for all their success is built on a lot of foreign players. This is no knock on foreign players. I'm just saying in terms of the champions going into translating that form into the England team, you can't because they're not eligible to play. So sorry, is it Mason Mount? Mason Mount is the one, isn't he? That plays for, or is he Chelsea? Who's the one that plays for? I always forget it. You know what? I'm getting old. But as a kid, I used to know everything about sports. Everything about all sports. It was weird. It was like because I just watch all sorts of sports. And like with those of people who have watched Question of Sport, I used to be brilliant at Question of Sport because I would nail like 95. I'd say 95% of the questions I would get. Even the the harder, obscure ones, I would like. Oh yeah, I know that about American football because I just used to watch everything and like I'd know individual players. And my son's that at football now. GB, well, I call him my stat man because he kind of, I'll say, who's that? What's his name again? I can't remember his name. I can't remember people's names, but I'm talking about the kid that plays for, they are kids, it's weird as well, plays for Man City. I can't remember his name, name's gone out me, it'll come back to me. But anyway, yeah, but so I think you've only got 1 Man City player, I think. Oh, John Stones as well, so it's 2. But like I say, it's not a lot. Normally, if you look at successful international teams, they've had a core of sort of the top team play. So the team that's like the team 1 and 2, of a core of them, and they build a core of the team, and then you can build the rest around it. But then, what do I know? I'm just a person who likes football. Yeah. So yeah, I'm up for it. I mean, the England games are the ones I've fully watched now. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I hope they win. I am disappointed with the percentage of the fan base. And you can see why England fans internationally, I would say, reviled, but just because of some of the and it's the behaviour of a very small percentage. That's the worst thing about it. It's the behaviour of a very small percentage that just it's the bad apples, isn't it? The bad apples, they make the old basket rotten. But they're not. I mean, everybody else is pretty cool. I know a lot of England fans, and they're fine. They're good. They're all good laugh, and laughs and jokes, and enjoy the football. But then some of them just take. I mean, some of the stuff that I saw online. I mean, when that little girl, when they beat Germany, when the little girl was crying, and my first reaction was, "Oh, look at the poor girl." Because you watch your team. I've seen loads of fans of different, kids when they're crying because their team's lost, and she was invested. And I always think that when somebody cries at sport, it's because they love it so much. They've invested so much of their support emotionally into it. They're gonna cry, and if they're not doing, I mean, they're gonna cry if they win sometimes as well. But that was my first reaction. But then when I saw some of the things that some people rightly were, their accounts have been suspended and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that they wrote about a little girl. Well, essentially, what sort of fan are you when you're writing insulting things about a little girl that was crying because her team lost? And I ain't going to say what they said. I mean, you can look on Twitter. Stan Collymore retweeted some of it. Not retweeted it. They took screenshots and he tweeted. So if you want to look. But it is just horrible. It's disgusting. And those things are the things that are picked up. This is when you're talking about any kind of bad thing that happens, not to do with sport, with anything, in terms of like like with Muslims, and it's like some Muslims have done some atrocious things, but then everyone gets labelled with it, and it's not, because I've known throughout my life lots of Muslims, and they're fantastic people and lovely people, and never had any inkling of any issue with them. But people who haven't had those experiences just look at the negative stereotypes of, regardless of if it's black people, if it's like Asian people, if they'll look at because they've not had those experiences. If you've had good experiences, you draw on those. But if you haven't had any experiences, and your only experience is what the media is telling you, then that's the experience you're going to get, and then that's where you need to get out. You need to get out more. You need to get out more and go talk to people. And you think, we've got a lot in common, and that's the big thing. People don't. That's the thing. People are just, not all people. This isn't me generalising as well, but some people just don't want those. I'm too old to get to know people. That I'll be talking to people as long as I can talk to people. I'll be annoying people for as long as I can annoy people. Believe me, I've still got a lot left in me. And it'd be nice to see people again, to be able to annoy them. But it's been going on for many years. The annoying thing. I think some of it's like, look at me. I'm a bit like that. I always call myself an introverted extrovert, because I am quite introvert, but then I want attention as well. So I'm a confused extrovert, maybe. I don't know. I am, but sometimes it's that thing. I think it's on occasion. Sometimes I just want to be left alone. Leave me alone, and I'll be fine. But then sometimes I want to be in it, and come and talk to me. Let me talk to you, and that's what I'll do. Yes, but I've been doing it since I was a kid. I think. Just thinking about it now. This is not something, again, nothing that I've thought about. I'm just a Diet Coke. I'll do the annoying. I've been doing the annoying thing for my sister. I asked my sister, my middle sister, not my elder sister. I wouldn't annoy her because she'd beat the shit out of me. No, my middle sister, she probably got the most of my annoying traits, and then that translated into a lot of my mates that got annoying. It's when I think a lot of the time when somebody wasn't paying attention to me. Pay attention to me. Talk to me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at this. It's like, no, and they're just letting it, and I'll be. I can imagine me just constantly prodding you. Harmy remembers. He punched me in the head. We still talk about this. I've told so many people about that story. That the calmest person in the world, and I got him to the point of annoyance that much that he physically assaulted me. He punched me in the head, and didn't stop me. I carried on doing it afterwards. Like after the shock had worn off, that he just hit me, and I carried on doing it. And he even accepted that. He goes, "You're the only person that can do that to me." I found that. I'm not going to say it because he'll moan about me saying it on here, even though most of the people will never probably see him. But there's loads of things that I've found out just by annoying him. But yes, be annoying. I think it's a good thing. Not to the point where it elicits physical violence. Let's say. Let's just dial it in a little bit. I'll take the violence. That's how it is. That's the way it is. It's like that, and that's the way it is. That's what I was looking for. But why not? Why not? And so what I was going to shout out. What was the date last week? 4th. Oh God. Shout outs to my nephew Sonny, who got engaged the other week. This was I was going to mention last week as well. I had some things in my head that was about, but shout out to them. The young man, he's not that young anymore. He's like 73 or something. He's younger than me. He's a lot younger than me. But he got engaged. Not last week, the week before, which is nice. And so it's giving me a bit of notice on the wedding because it's a bit of distance away, but something to look forward to. I always look forward to. Nice seeing the family. And so essentially with this is how our relationships are built, especially within our family, is that, as I've said before, that we generally, I mean, when we're referring to them, we'll probably say cousins, but we see a lot of our cousins as like first cousins, as you would say. So, like my dad's nieces and nephews, and my mum's nieces and nephews, as brothers and sisters. We always see each other as brothers and sisters rather than cousins. You say cousins now, but in India, say for instance, in the Punjab region where the families are from, you would just, anybody older than you, just call them Baji, which means brother, and Benji, which means sister. Or, there's different variations of that, but that's what you say. You don't say them by if they're older than you, out of respect, you don't say their name. You call them by that title. And I mean, some people might even know some, but I've been called that, and I've called people that, but that's out of respect. That's what you've always been taught that. So obviously it became, I suppose it's when just fitting into society here, and then you understand, oh, that's what a cousin is. I mean, we were born and raised here, me and my cousins, and but yeah, we always see each other as brother and sister. So, with my nephew, his dad, they used to live like across the road from us when so I think Mum said I was about 6 weeks old when they bought their first house, and the only other Asian family on the road, I think, was just them. So it was quite nice, like Punjabi Sikh family, and I was a baby, and there was like their mum and dad and the three of them siblings. So it was like there was a back and forth between the houses. So we became quite, because of the only two Asian families. It'd be like they'd be at our house, we'd be at their house. Their sister would look after me. It's what I've been told. I don't know, but she would come to love to look after me. That gave mum a break as well, I suppose. And everybody's all kids, isn't it? So it's all good. And so essentially you would say that they're just friends of the family, but I've never seen like my nephew, Sunny's dad, as anything but my older brother, because that's all he's ever been. I never. It was weird in our portion of the family. We were very bad at the old, when I was talking about calling people Baji or Benji, brother or sister, we just call people by their names, like cousins, as you would say. So so everybody knows each other by name rather than calling them by the title. We were very bad at it. It's funny when people from other like, well, don't you even call your sister that? I'm like, yeah, I'll just call her by names. Sue, it's fine. But it fed down, I suppose, because the older ones were doing it. So the younger ones were just going to copy them. But it's weird with my three boys, is that my two younger boys will call their older brother, won't call him by his name, whereas the youngest won't call the middle one. He'll call the middle one by his name, but they'll both call the older one Baji. Which we tried to teach them to do it with all of them, but well, the youngest one would essentially be calling both of them, but yeah, he never does. But yeah, it's what it is. It's a new era. They're different generations, aren't they? I suppose they're like us really, kind of half and half. But yeah, it's just interesting when you think about it. But yeah, anyway, shout out to the son. And I like something that he wrote when he posted on his Instagram of a picture of him and his fiancé. Obviously he talked about his I got a bit of a sniffle. Talked about his, I wanted to go for a walk today, so it was just slightly changed subject then, because it was pissing it down all day now. The sun's out now, and I suppose when I finish this, the sun will fuck off and it'll start raining again. But yeah, I'll try and go for a walk before I will talk about what I was watching in a minute. So he put his engagement picture, and then he put another picture up, and he said something on there which I thought was really nice, that love has no colour. And that is true, because you love who you love, and that's what it is. So if you've got a problem with that, you can talk to me about it, and I will explain it to you more succinctly. But yes, lovely news for the family. So I'll be looking forward to those celebrations in the future, and linking up with them guys, because it's even though they are nephews, they're old enough, and we can have some good laughs and jokes. I like it. Gawk. I want to drink it out of a cup for some reason. I just fancied it. It looks posher. It's plastic. In fairness, it was a plastic one that was just lying there. It looks glass, doesn't it? plastic in this. So that's weird. Yeah, and so yeah, I was just watching. I only turned it on today. It's one of those things I've been meaning to watch. Because I like Top Gear and all that, and the Grand Tour. Partial to watching Jeremy Clarkson. He is quite entertaining. And the one that's on Prime at the moment, Jeremy Clarkson, The Farm. He bought that farm, and it's interesting because, I mean, I suppose. Well, I didn't know anything about farming. I knew little bits about farming. I didn't know the cost of farming and stuff like that. And it's like it's amusing, it's entertaining, but it's also quite informative about the work that goes into running a farm. I mean, the geezer has 1,000 acres of a farm that's 1,000 acres. So to put that into perspective, if you didn't know what an acre is the size of a football pitch. So 1,000 football pitches, and it's but it's different things in different fields, and it's Jeremy Clarkson all over, doing the wrong things most of the time. But it's just like I say, there was that entertainment aspect of it, but the informative aspect of it of the cost of machinery, the cost of running it, the time it takes, it's mental. And the money that you make, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of money that comes out of it. So you can understand why a lot of farmers go under if there's no, and you're a slave to the conditions and the weather. About if it rains, there's not a hell of a lot that you can do on specific, like when it comes to farming in your fields and sowing your seeds and all that business like that. And it's like when you're talking about like big fields, it's a lot of time and effort that takes. Even though it's machinery that's doing it, it's still going to take a lot of time and effort to do it. And because you have to go up and down, and then with specifics, yeah, he fucks that up as well. But definitely if you get a chance to watch on Prime, it's. I thought that was quite. I haven't watched. I've only watched 2 episodes, the first 2 episodes of it, and in fact it got me engaged quite quickly. Then it was pretty decent. In fact, it got me engaged to the point where I put my phone down. I think it was all right. It's pretty decent when it gets me like that. And and thing is out next week, Black Widow. New Marvel film. I'm going to the cinema to watch it as well. So that'll be nice to go. I've said to a few people this week that the cinema. I don't know what it is about it, because I don't want cinemas to close. I love going to the cinema. It's like my happy place. It's like I can remember so many times when I've sat in the cinema going just by myself, and just like before the film starts, like, this is ace. This is phones off, it's to the side. And if it's a really good film, I'm not watching. I'll never pick up my phone just to check it. I'm fixed. I'm in the film. Love it. So I'm looking forward to going back to the cinema again next week. Fun times, yeah. I don't realise how much I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So, but other than that, it's just been work, hasn't it? Lately, everybody's going through periods of ups and downs, I think, still, with the old this, that and everything, and seeing people and not seeing people, work and not work. It's lockdowns and non-lockdowns, and restrictions lifted and not restrictions lifted. I don't know. Nobody's quite sure what's going on. Unfortunately, the government's not giving us, but just being clear about what they're going to do. Because they'll say one thing and then the opposite happens for some reason. The problem is they've lost the trust. I think they've lost the trust of a lot of people. When you had the Dominic Cummings thing and then the Matt Hancock thing the other week, it's like, well, you can do what you want, but then you're telling everybody else to do specific, follow these instructions. You kind of you're not leading by example. So if you're not leading by example, why? Not that they should, not that people shouldn't follow the instructions, but the fact is that they just need this. Some people just need an excuse, don't they? Most people are like sensible. Okay, fine, all good. But then you got a percentage of people. You got the percentage of people who don't believe in masks and lockdowns and anti-vax. That's on them. And then you've got a percentage of people that will go, well, if you aren't doing it, why should we? And they'll just go about whatever, however they want. And that's because the people in charge aren't doing what they're meant to be doing. And if they're not doing what they're meant to be doing, I'm just repeating myself because this is me talking about economy of words. It's because I didn't get my point out properly in the first place. So it's happened to me a few times recently. Not me, but when I've heard somebody, I'm just like, just spurt the fucking words out that you want to say, or stop saying the same thing over and over again. Oh. It happened the other day. I was on the phone. I was like, fuck's sake. I just want to say, you've told me. I did say it. Yeah, you said that. And then they'd fucking repeat it like 3 times. Oh, fuck's sake. My aunt phoned earlier and she said she did exactly the same thing of telling me the same instruction 4 times in a different way. Yeah, I got it the first time. It's fine. I've also relayed that instruction off the first instruction. Didn't do it off the 2, 3 and 4. But yes, anyway. It's how it is. And you kind of have to get on with it. It's how it is. I'm not going to name this poem, so it's how it is. I'll think of something. But yeah, I always I don't always. It's something. I'll name the episode something about while I'm. It's normally I've thought of it while I'm talking about it. Yeah, that one will do. I like that one. But it's one of those things. Yeah, so I've been training alright. I've done more cardio this week, like more cardio based and body weight stuff, no weights. This week coming, I'll do a lot more weight work. So I'm trying to just alternate the two. So I'll do like this week I'll do more weight stuff with the weights that I've got here. And then next week I'll do more cardio-based stuff and do it that way and just switching between the two, just so I'm not losing the because I like doing the weight stuff, but I just have to be I'm stuck in my tooth. I have to be innovative with how I do them, just so I can get everything in. Because the weather's gonna be shit next week as well, so I don't know how much walking I'm gonna get in. Because I do like my walks as well, as you know. I've got a doctor's appointment next week for this bloody strain finally. So hopefully we can get some movement on that to get that sorted. Then I can start actually. So I think next 2 weeks I want to do something with my nutrition, which is most of the day thinking about what I'm going to do. I might do a week of get somebody to do a meal prep for me, just so I can get, you can get your mindset into it, and then once I understand what's been done, then I can kind of replicate it. I think that's what I need to do, because I'm more of a touchy-feely, example-y person, rather than me having to do it, because I never trust myself to do anything like that. So I will try and figure that out today, because essentially I want to start tomorrow, but if I start a day late or 2 days late, it ain't going to make a difference. Got weddings to get ready for and shit, anyway. Yeah, we've got a couple of... I've got a wedding next weekend, but then there's no reception, I think, because of the restrictions. So they're just doing at the temple, which will still be nice. It'll be nice to see some people. So that will be cool. And then I think at the end of the month or beginning of next month we've got one, and at the end of next month we've got another. So better be I don't know what I'm saying. I'll be in shape for those. I'm double vaxxed as well. Don't know if I mentioned that. Got my second vaccination the other week, so on Tuesday next week it'll be 2 weeks since I had my second vaccination. That means that, didn't they say that like after 2 weeks then it's like you're classed as fully vaccinated. So yeah, and I felt alright after it. I didn't touch wood and all that business. Didn't feel any felt better on the second one than I did in the first one. The first one, not that it was really bad, it was just like I felt crappy. Second one was like, apart from the little ache in my arm where the injection point was, felt alright. It was like, okay, that's cool, I'm good. So yes, so hopefully that will stand me in good stead for the future. That I'm one of those fully vaccinated people. You can only trust the doctors and the science, can't you? Judging, but I'm not either of them, and a lot of people are. And I'll still wear a mask in a shop because, you know what? I think I've said it before. It's not for me. It's for other people. If it makes other people feel comfortable, it's not really no skin off my nose. And how long am I really going to wear a mask? How long am I? I mean, I just had to pop into Aldi earlier, and I was in there for 10 minutes, maybe 15. It ain't killing me I literally put my mask on when I'm walking in and take my mask off when I've walked out. That's about it. It's not, I can understand people saying, oh, it's like, you have to wear. You don't wear it that long. How long are you shopping for God's sake? How long do you spend in your superstore? Max an hour if it's really busy, but you're probably less than that. I don't know what people are talking about. You work in a hospital, and you work in a hospital, you should be used to it. But yeah, it's cool. I'll do it. Hopefully we'll come to a point where we won't need to wear masks, and it'll be like more normal, whatever normal is. I think it was on Prime on Friday. Yeah, it came out tomorrow with Chris Pratt's new film on Amazon. That was pretty good. It was like a futury kind of alien-y vibe. Good action. Amazon spent some money on that. But yeah, that's. I'm looking forward to his next one as well, Terminal List. Chris Pratt is doing for Amazon as well, called The Terminal List, which is based on a book that I listened to, called The Terminal List by Jack Reese. John Reese. Reese is his name, in his character name. Jack Carr. He wrote them. It's a series of books now. He's like four in. I just finished listening to the last one yesterday, The Devil's Hand. Yeah, I finished that one yesterday, and they're like actiony kind of hits. Just to give you the synopsis of the first one, the one that's going to be released as a film, called The Terminal List, was he's a commander of a Navy SEAL group who get ambushed out in Afghanistan, and a lot of them die. This is not giving away the plot at all, because this is the very beginning of the book. And then he survives, and when he gets back, his wife and his daughter, his young daughter, like 4 or 5 year old daughter, has been killed as well, and they were looking for him to kill. And then it's basically the Terminal List is a list of people that he thinks are responsible for what happened, and it goes into far. I don't know how far they're going to go with the violence, because some of the violence in the book is pretty graphic. But you can get away with more stuff on the films now, but I can't see it being less than a 15, or more likely an 18. But yeah, if they could probably get away with a 15 and just edit it a little bit in terms of the content. But they are good books. It's got the makings of a good film, and he's the good thing about it. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's a former Navy SEAL that has been deployed. He's been in action, and he knows. It's quite interesting when you listen to his books or read them. He's very specific with the equipment. I've seen him interviewed, and he makes a point of the reason he is, because that's what it is. That's what the equipment is. So he'll say what type of gun it is, exactly the type of gun it is. It's like he had a pistol or he had a Glock. It'll be the Glock, or the Beretta, not the Beretta. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Or which AR-15 it was, and what type of helicopter it was, or something like that. And yeah, he's very specific, even to the point where what type of knife it is, and it's which company made it, or because he's got ties with Black Rifle Coffee, which is a coffee coffee company in the States, who is run by former veterans. They created it, and they do it, so they've got a lot of ties with Black Rifle Coffee. So he'll say, and he poured himself a Black Rifle Coffee, which is good. It's a nice shout out, but it's like with equipment, the type of shoes, the types of jackets they're wearing and stuff like that. It's really specific, because he said that's the type of stuff that we wore, and that's the type of stuff that we wear. So I'm going to be very specific with what I'm talking about. But so it's like a shout out as well to what they were doing. And but you can, you can understand, not understand it. You can feel the authenticity of it because he's lived it. So when he's talking about operations and how they're doing it, he's like doing it from his own experience of, when they enter the building, or when he enters a building, or when he's reconning somebody or something like that. But yeah, definitely. If you get a chance to read the book. If the first one's called The Terminalist. If you get a chance to watch the film, I think it's out later on this year, so I'm sure I'll mention it because I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll still be doing this. Like I say, it's my weekly, except for last week, therapy. That's the first week I've missed. I felt disappointed all week, and I was like, I probably could have mustered up the energy. Not that I was tired, but it's just like there's things that you have to do, and then I probably wanted to do something or watch something. More likely watch something, I'm like a big telly addict. Or just chill. Sometimes I just want to chill and just piss about on my phone or piss about doing nothing. And sometimes that's, we're all in that same mode sometimes. Like, I don't want to do anything. Just leave me alone. Or just WhatsApping, messaging people, groups, whatever. Anybody who wants to talk to me. So I'll be doing that. Yeah, I had a phone. I need to phone a few people. I ain't spoken to a few other people. I mean, I've got my regular phone call with Gam every few days, but I'm going to do some random phone calls, I think, this week, because I'm nice chats with people, see how they're doing. I mean, even just the response to my story yesterday, when I put my Facebook story up yesterday, when I got caught in the rain. I haven't put a story up for ages either, and it was just nice, the response I got back. A few people saying hello, and it's nice to be remembered. That's not going to be the title either. The door's pissing me off. Opening and closing. They tell you know what? Bloody freezer door's open again. Just noticed that. You know what? Because they don't put the stuff in here properly. It bloody opens all the time. I always moan about this, and there's no bloody space in here. And the ice creams are going to melt. And then they're going to moan, the ice creams are melted. Now I have to rearrange the freezer while I'm recording. Just so the bloody ice creams don't melt. I'm back. I hope you got all that. It's closed now, it's fine. I'll finish this can. When I finish this can, I will finish this podcast. Or whatever it is. Whatever it is. So, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you. I shouldn't sing. I should never sing. Somebody said that to me. Don't sing. And I agree with you. I can't sing. I have done karaoke in the past a couple of times now. I've told people this. First karaoke I ever did was in Delhi, in India, when I went to see my sister when my niece was born, and I sang "No Woman No Cry" by the great and powerful Bob Marley. I was very drunk. I drank so much that night. And then there's video of me doing it. Ant's put it in one of our other ones before, but when we went to Budapest for his stag, then we did quite a lot of. Luckily, a lot of my individual efforts weren't recorded, but our group one was. The individual efforts were funny as well. Thing is, when you sing by yourself, when you're singing in the car, when I'm singing in the car, it's like you're in line and in tune with it. You think you are, but because when they do the karaoke printing, it's the word for word is how the word matches up with how the person sung it, and the gaps, and then the next words, and the gaps in between the words as well. It's like it's very specific. Whereas when you try and do it and read it, unless you know it verbatim and the pauses and everything, you're always at. I mean, it's very like I noticed that when I was reading it. I was like, because No Woman No Cry is different because it's a very slow But when it's like a more up tempo, I think me and Ish did a Craig David one. It might have been 7. Might have been 7 days. I don't know. Took a drink on mine. No. I met this girl on Monday. Yeah, that one. You know what I'm on about. I don't want to fucking sing it for. But yeah, that's very. It's very quick, and you have to be on. And we were way off on loads of it. It was so shit, but funny. It was insane. We were drunk, and it was funny, and that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a bit of fun, I suppose. And what was good about it was we went with the whole, because it was quite a big bar, karaoke place. This was, like I say, it was in Budapest. So there was the main bar when you walked in, and then they took us to the basement bar bit downstairs, and there was hardly anybody. But actually, there was nobody else in there. The guy was there for the music, which was cool because he had an iPad kind of. I think it was an iPad kind of a thing that you requested on there, and then he would cue them up, and then they would give you the microphone. But there was nobody else there, so it was just our group. So we're just doing karaoke within the group that you're in, which isn't as bad. So it's just more of a laugh. For some reason, it's harder in front of strangers, so to speak. You can get it out in front of strangers unless they ask you to, with specific permission. But yeah, so later on, more people had come downstairs to see what the noise was, because it was so noisy. We were so noisy, and people come down to watch us. That's how bad we were. And it wasn't because we were good. I know that for a fact. But I think it's because we were having a lot of fun downstairs. We were having loads of noise, loads of laughs and coming down. So you normally would gravitate to where the party's at. So yeah, it's weird that you get more embarrassed in front of strangers, people who you don't know, and you probably will never see again after that hour or so. But you're more embarrassed in front of them than you are in front of people that you know for years, which is really weird. You can tell the sun's gone in my face. But it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird psychology, isn't it? It's a different thought process. But yeah, that was my karaoke days, my singing days. That was as far as my singing career goes. My singing career is in the car, when nobody can hear me, or it's if people are in the car, it's quietly to myself. Yeah, and I'll go through a variation. I was thinking about it the other day. I went through some right like different genres of music. It's like I went from properly A to Z. I'd started off with like this. What was it? What did I start with? Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, which is he's a Qawwali singer. He's like a Pakistani traditional. I think I've talked about the traditional singers before, but I was listening to him. So one of his songs came on. Then it was like his nephew's song. So it was like a similar vein, more modern. His nephew's song, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, which was more modern. So it was more. His was very traditional, whereas that one was a bit more modern, but he still had the traditional elements of his singing. And then then I went into, I think it was Marvin Gaye, and then it went into Dave, UK rapper, and then it went back into Punjabi music. I was like, it was just I could have gone anywhere. If the journey didn't end. If the journey didn't end it. It's me telling people how to speak it. If the journey didn't end, I don't know where I would have gone. But I love the fact that my musical taste is eclectic. Let's say that. I do. If it sounds good, I'll listen to it. I'm saying I'll listen to pop music still as well. I think I was watching Man Down again the other day, and those of you, if you haven't seen Man Down, it's on Netflix. All 4 series are Netflix. It's Greg Davies. It's a very English sense of humour, British sense of humour, but it's because it's so irreverent. That's the thing. It's so odd. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen the episodes now, and there's not many like per series. I think like 5 or 6 per series. But it's so fun. It still makes me laugh. It's still Really, really funny, and it's really well written. It's just Greg Davies just cracks me up. But then it's the rest of the cast; they're brilliant. Everybody's brilliant in it. But I was watching that the other day, and in one of the episodes in series 3, I think it is, remember Bewitched. Say you will, say you will. That one. The one of the ladies from Bewitched was in an episode, and she sings in it, and she's got a really nice voice. It's the Irish when he thinks he's adopted. When he's adopted, the adopted episode, and that episode, that part of it, cracked me up when he sings about the bloody donkey. But I can't remember whose donkey it was. Oh, it'll come back to me. But that's besides the point. At the end of it, they do a little kind of montage thing at the end of it, and she is singing that song, the famous Bewitched song, but it's a cappella. It sounds so nice, and it's like, I never liked that song, but I like that a cappella. It's a completely a cappella version of it, and she's got a lovely voice because she's Irish, and she's got that Irish tinge behind it, and but yeah, that's ace. And that pop music, that's what I'm talking about, pop music. So I mean, I don't dislike pop music, and if it's good, it's good. But yes, man down, that does genuinely give me the laughs. If you get a chance, watch it. You might not even like it, I don't care. It's funny. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and that's saying something. I watched The Life of Brian the other day. Monty Python's Life of Brian, as they're on Netflix. It's so funny. It still made me laugh, and I've seen it all. And I probably, in fairness, I was reciting some of it as they were talking, because I remembered a lot of the script. I remember when I was a kid. Here's an interesting aside. This is one thing I was thinking about when I was watching. Quentin Tarantino was interviewed by Joe Rogan. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast the other week, or the day. And I'm as people may or may not know, and I think I might have mentioned it, I'm a massive Quentin Tarantino fan. I've seen all of his films. I love all of his films. And to hear him speak candidly about his films and what he does and what he doesn't like. Because I was watching Kill Bill the other day. It's so good, that film is, and there's certain scenes in that, and I tweeted about it the other day. There's a scene in that, and those of you who've seen it will know. Those of you who haven't, I mean, I recommend you watch it. It's a very violent the way it's done, but you have to kind of tongue-in-cheek violence because it's very cartoonish violence. It's like throwback violence in terms of the way they used to do it in old martial arts films. It's like a homage to old martial arts films. A lot of it is. So, because in the Kill Bill Volume 1, she wears Bruce Lee's suit from Game of Death, the yellow and black suit, and the Kato masks and all that business. But anyway, there's a scene in there where she goes to Japan. Uma Thurman's character, the bride, as she would be in the first one, and she meets, and she goes to this sushi bar, and the conversation, that whole scene, all of it is it's like. I said it was perfect. Everything about it, the pacing of it, the way it was written, the conversation, the acting, everything was so beautifully done. I love it, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And there's a point where she says a specific line, and I still went. I was like, I got emotional. I was like, oh, fuck, it's bad. And you know what? Any film that can do that after I don't know when Kill Bill came out, but it's over 10 years ago. That can still do that to me. Wins every single time. Kill Bill it's probably one of my favourites out of his film. And Pulp Fiction is probably my favourite because that was the first. I think Reservoir Dogs was my first one that I actually watched, and that was his first film. But in terms of the first, like, really got me films, was that Pulp Fiction, and it was just fucking immense, that film, and still is. And I've still watched it now, and it's and he was talking about that as well. He's like that. John Travolta wasn't the first choice for Vincent Vega. Michael Madsen, who plays Mr. It's not Mr. Blue. Whatever. I'm forgetting the names now. But the one that chops off the cop's ear in Reservoir Dogs. That was, he said it was written from, because he was quite specific that he was like but Michael Madsen was tied up. He'd accepted another film, and he couldn't do it, and then they wanted Travolta, and he was tried. They tried to get him to not you choose Travolta because Travolta wasn't that big. I mean, he was big back in the day, but then there was a period, that was the period of time that he wasn't, and then after that he boosted his career again after doing Pulp Fiction, but he wanted Travolta. But it was just really interesting listening to the way how he talked about his films and how their artistic choices and stuff like that. You know what? It's that, because I know he's done a lot of interviews and he's talked about loads of, and he's very honest with what he says. I mean, I didn't agree with everything that he said about Bruce Lee, but then that's his opinion. I ain't gonna sort of hammer him on. That's what he thinks, and you know what, he might know something that I don't know, but I'm only going by what I know, and you know what, that's what it is. That's what it is. But I could listen to it. I could have listened to him for another 3 hours. Because that was it was a good 2.5 to 3 hour interview that he did. But that's what I like about it, because then that length of interview, or that length of, let's say, length of conversation, it lends to it being more honest, because it's like, it's hard to hide in that period for that period of time. It's hard to sort of hide behind this. Eventually something's going to come out. But he was very honest about what he was talking. He never, Tarantino, as long as I've seen him talking about his films and seen him being interviewed and stuff like that, he's never scared about what his choices, his artistic choices, or what he thinks. That's what he thinks. And I mean, I was which one was I going to watch? I was going to watch Django Unchained again, because that's an immense film, and I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm going to give that one a go again, because that's such a good film. I might do a Tarantino marathon actually and just watch them all, because he said he's only going to do one more film, which is a shame. But he said he only wanted to do 10, and he's got one more in him. But he said, I'm not doing it. It was interesting how he talked about how his writing process. He talked about anyway. But it was like, so what your idea? Where did you get your ideas from? He said, if it comes to me, then I'll write. And then he said, I'll write the first scene. So I think in every film that he's written the first scene first. And then if he thinks, yes, that's it, I've got it, and then he'll just go with it. If not, then he said the amount of time, he even said, I think, the amount of times that he's written a first scene, and he's like, nah, there's nothing, there's no spark. When he gets that spark, then he's like, okay, then he's off. And then he's like, he's in it. So he said, what did he say? He said he's written one book on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book. So that was the last film that he released. He's done a book with a lot more in the book. So I might get that. I'm not sure. I probably will. And listen to it, but there's that. And then he said he might be doing another book, a play, and then after that he'll see about doing another film. So it's not like he's going to disappear anytime soon. But and he said, I get what he's saying. He was saying that I want to finish with people wanting more, rather than them going, oh, I think he's kind of lost it now. He's lost the plot a little bit. He should stop making films. So, but I think he's still going to be involved in films. He's got too many ties with so many good sort of directors. I think he'll still be involved, not directly in the film. He might be still be writing films, and then give it to somebody else to direct, and then it might even peak. Peak his interest. Saying, would they be able to direct it how I want it? I've written these characters a specific way, and a different director might take it in a different direction. I don't know. Could be. It's easy to get tempted nowadays, isn't it? But yeah, I might listen to it again, because it was just it's an interesting. He's an interesting guy, just from where he came from. He used to work in a video shop, and he was not a formal Hollywood guy. He worked in a video rental place, and he loved films. He loved films and he loved comics, and because he talked about the Marvel ones as well, which was I think people have quoted him out of context, and they were saying, oh, Quentin Tarantino hates the Marvel franchise, and how he didn't say he hated it. He said it was just like, because that's what I wanted when I was that age. Now I don't care about it, because I'm not invested in that kind of thing anymore. So it's like when he was at the age of reading comics, that's the kind of stuff that he wanted. Those films were what he would have wanted. And so he's like, not that he thinks they're shit. He's like, they're not for me. They're not. It's not something that I'm interested in. So all power to them. But yeah. I'm still a kid, so I'm still interested in them, and I will be watching Black Widow next week. I keep saying Scarlet Witch, Black Widow next week, and Loki's only got 2 episodes left as well, which has got quite interested. It was episode 4 on Wednesday, so the penultimate episode is this Wednesday, and then it finishes next week. No, yeah, Wednesday, and then it finishes the week after, and then it overlaps with Scarlet. So it overlaps with Scarlet. I keep saying Scarlet. Black Widow, and then what have we got? August, September. So we've only got a month and a half to wait. There's other bits coming on Disney in the meantime, and then come September, you've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is going to be ace. I also saw the trailer for He-Man, the actual release trailer for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which looks perfect. As a childhood thing, I think I mentioned it not long ago that it's bringing back my childhood. And Kevin Smith liked my tweet, so Kevin Smith, who's creating this series, he's directing it. He liked my tweet when I said thank you, Kevin Smith, for bringing back my childhood. And it is, because I remember He-Man when I was growing up. Everybody remembers He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I've got a sword here somewhere. There's one here somewhere. I know there is one here somewhere. It's locked away in the dungeon somewhere. In fairness, I don't even know where it is. I know there is one. There's an old thing that people used to have one in the house. It was like a traditional thing. Not that everybody's ever used it. The only thing I ever used it on was when we lived in Wolverhampton. I wanted to see how sharp it was, so I cut a branch off a tree. And then I made a big divot in it, and somebody had to have it fixed. But yeah, it's just, you can buy them. Whatever. Anyway, I think I'm nearly done an hour, so I might as well just round it up. I'll go for a walk, and then I'll upload this later on. Just because you needed to know that. So it's another week. We're into July. Happy July. The weather doesn't always reflect what the month is, but I think it's going to rain all week here in the UK. We had some decent weather last week, I suppose, which doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. I want decent weather all the time. What I would suggest is it can rain at night when everybody's asleep, and then be nice sunny in the day. I wanted to do my hedge this week. That's not a euphemism for anything else. Actually, in the garden, I wanted to trim the hedge. I wanted to trim the hedge and cut the grass. The grass isn't too bad, but it's still, once I've done the hedge, and I can pick up all the leaves, whatever extra bits of leaves and stuff off the floor. Because we've got a vast hedge on the side of our house that needs every year. Most of the time it's once a year, but sometimes I just want to, before the weather turns, I'll do it again just to keep it a tidy up. Then it's like easier to cut. But I wanted to do it this weekend, and it's pissed it down all weekend, which is standard. Which I always say that when yesterday it happened with the old rain, when I got caught in the rain. So it's like somebody's waiting for me. So it pissed it down. So I stood under a tree. And I thought this ain't gonna stop. I might as well just walk. So I got not badly soaked, but I was fairly soaked. But by the time I got to the house, got round the corner from the house, stopped raining. And I thought I could turn around and go, or I could just go inside. And I just went inside in the end, because I knew if I turned around and went, it would stop pissing it down again. Or I would get far enough away for it to start, and then by the time I got home again, it would stop. Because I know wherever in the ether somebody's watching me, going, "Watch this, let's fuck him over again." I say this all the time, but I think I've got a guardian angel. I've got a guardian bully who likes to torment me. Let's finish on that note, shall we? So I hope everybody has a lovely week. I will be back next week. I have got, actually, in fairness, I might have to do this on Saturday because I got that wedding on Sunday, so I don't know how long I'm going to be in and out. So so have a lovely week, and I hope to catch up with you soon. I hope to see you soon. I love you all, especially you. That's how I'm pointing at myself, and you as well. Catch you soon. See you later.